All right, now the fun will begin. You've tolerated all this stuff about syllabus and D2L and problem solving and all that. I know deep down you want to actually code something. So what I got for you is um, I've got here the links, which of course are going to constantly evolve throughout this course, right? Just so you know, I'm a big fan of trying to help you guys help yourselves. And so there's some links here. We've already kind of talked about the textbook. I haven't talked about this one too much, but I probably will later. And I may even reorganize these things as reorder, I should say, as time moves on. But in this case, enough of that. Let's talk about Python IDEs, which you can click on here or you can click on here. So I'll just click on here for Python IDEs. And here they are down here. And actually, as I'm realizing it, you know what? Let's just simplify it a little bit, do that instead. All right, so Python IDEs. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. At this point, we're pretty primitive, so we're going to be dealing with some pretty primitive ones. I will, as the course rolls forward, start showing you some of my other favorite ones. Now, if you want to actually have Python on your system, well, you can download it right from the source. So by clicking on that link, I go to Python. It's free. It's open source. And I'd strongly recommend that, either now or later that you kind of start poking through here and having a look, because it is kind of cool. It is kind of cool that you can, go right to the site here. But anyway, I'm going to go to downloads. I'm going to click on that, I guess, downloads. And I'm going to download for Windows. It's identified that I'm on a Windows machine. If you're on Apple, if you're on Linux, you will be able to basically download one of theirs. So you click on the link. I'm using Chrome, so the downloads are popping up here. It's your deal to figure out where your downloads are going on your browser. And it really has picked the right one. It's picked the most recent, and it's picked a 64 64-bit system. So now what I can do here is I can go and click on install. So I'm going to click on install. And I don't know what that did to my recording, but it's going to, it basically wanted to make sure that I had admin permissions on my operating system. Normally, this would be a good practice for me if I was a professional YouTuber to kind of pause and resume. But I knew that this was actually going to be pretty short. At least I thought it was going to be pretty short. Let's see what happens. Are you pretty short? Yes, you're pretty short. Setup was successful. I can now click on close. And what that did is it gave me an idle environment. In your textbook, you'll see how to install Python. And it more or less takes you through those steps. Right there, we just did the setup was successful. All right, and on the next page, it actually talks about you launching your Python shell. Now, how do you do that? Well, I've just installed Python. This stuff has just popped up now. And idle is probably what I want to use. So I'm going to click on idle. And up it comes, right? Looks hauntingly similar to this. Now, idle, little joke for you guys. So IDE, Integrated Development Environment. That's what IDE stands for. Python, the people that came up with it initially were big fans of Monty Python. And it is no coincidence that they named their interface idle after Eric Idle from Monty Python. So there you go. There's your deal there. So now I've got myself a nice little IDE, and I can do commands. And the first command we're going to do is I'm going to do a print statement. I'm going to do the hello world print statement, so which is going to be basically print, open parentheses, hello world. Now, by the way, I'm not encouraging you guys to start installing or anything of this yet. If you are going to go this route, because I'm going to give you some other options, if you're going to go this route, then anytime I'm typing code or whatever, you now have the power to shut me up and pause me and follow along. And you will learn this so much better if you do that. All right, so print hello world. I then run it. which is just in this case by hitting enter, and it print back hello world. Tremendous program. Once you've got that done, you have now joined the annals of programmers from across this, well, not centuries, but certainly back through the 70s and 60s. The Hello World program was one of the first things you ever built, and it's in any language usually. All right, so that's kind of having your own shell on your machine. Now, some of you might say, but Grant, I don't have a machine, I don't have a laptop, I can't get one. That's okay. Guess what? I have this Cloud Python shell out there for you, which, by the way, is the subject of the next page, to idle or not to idle. And they basically talk about how you can go ahead to the shell. And I've got you a nice little link here. Here's a shell. What this does is in python.org, so basically in another universe somewhere out there, it's given me an IDE where I can do the same program, print hello world. Now notice it's not quite as cool. Like when I did my idle one, you'll notice that there's actually color coding going on, which I'll talk about as we move forward in time. Here it's pretty cryptic. And when I hit enter, there's hello world, right? So that's great, that worked. And this is certainly another option for you. And the textbook will likely be alternating between the two. But I got one more, and I should point out before I go much further, how do you get out? Obviously here you could just, if you wanted to, you could just close down the browser. The real cool, slick way to get out of Python would be to close down the IDE by exiting it. And those parentheses are needed. Same deal with over here in idle land. If I wanted to get out of that, I'm going to go exit. And now it's basically saying, are you sure? And I'm going to go yes, and boom, it's gone, right? So that's basically the two ways to get out of there. Now, but Grant, tell me more, because you said there was a third option. There is, and I really like this option. And I've actually taught Python classes on both idle and this option and some others. Here's Python Anywhere. Python Anywhere, and I'm going to click on it, and it's going to respond. So here's the cool part. You can, I know it says pricing and sign up, and you're going to think, oh, geez, Grant, I don't have any money. It's okay if you don't have any money. Let's see, actually, if I can do this. I'm going to go log in, and I don't have an account. I don't actually have an account at grant.spencer@hennepintech.edu. I don't. So I'm going to click on sign up. I'm going to say I'd like to have a beginner account. I'm going to click on create a beginner account. My username is going to be, G Spencer HTC. Okay. My email is going to be grant.spencer@hennepintech.edu. My passwords is going to be none of your business. Okay. I'm going to agree to the terms, which I'll talk about in a second. I'm going to register. Is this going to let me in? This is again where I should have paused it. Welcome to Python Anywhere. When it's your turn, definitely go ahead and look at the tour. By the way, I got a nice little email from our friends at Python Anywhere, which actually I tell you what, is there a way to pop this puppy out? I don't know. Can I pop you out at all? Yes, there it is. So here's my nice email that I just got from Python Anywhere. All right. So if you choose to do it this way, then not too bad. Now I'm going to end the tour, but for goodness sakes, you guys look at the tour yourselves. Here's the cool part about this now. So here I am again. I didn't pay anything for this. You just saw me. I didn't pay anything for this at all. It's given me full power at this point now. This is what a paid one would be, but eventually it would bring it back to what the permanent free is. And maybe well, tell you what, let me show you what a permanent free one would look like, because here's the other one I've got. I think that is it. If this doesn't work, I'm going to immediately retreat back to my previous existence here. Okay, so this one here, oh no, look at that, still fives. I thought for sure they dropped the number of consoles down, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? So either as my previous one or this one, watch this. I can create a, sorry, where am I here? I can open up a Python console by doing this, and I can pick the version. You may as well go as high as you want, which is version 3.7. And now what it's done is it's opened up a console. Here it goes. Does this look familiar? It looks very much like what we just did in the Python group. If I go print, hello world, hit the enter button, and then I get the hello world. All right, so that's awesome. You might be thinking, Grant, well, what's the point? And I get it. Let's see if I can go back to dashboard. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. This would also give you the ability to, at some point later in your lives, you can save files to this and run the files. You also, let's just say that there's some really kind of cool things you can do, and I'll just leave it at that. This is what I'd like your assignment to be, all right? So for your assignment, to prove that you are able to do this, I would like you to, in one of the three choices, either your own idle, either the Cloud Python or the Python Anywhere, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to send me a screenshot where you basically done a command like this. So it's going to be print I am, and then whatever your name is, and I am happy to be in CCIS, crap, what are we, CCIS 1500, is that right? 1505. I'm happy to be in CCIS 1505. Boom. I would like that captured as a screenshot and dumped in there. Now, how you do that, by the way, if you're not sure, one of the better ways to do is just use snip. I'll bring it up to my second monitor here. I go snip. I'd go like that. That's all I really care about. I'd go copy, and then I would put that into a Dropbox. And as I'm thinking about it now, I haven't created a Dropbox for this yet, but that's basically what the assignment will be. I'll put it out there for you to look at. Okay, so that is how to get Python on 3 options, and yeah, and I'm looking forward to you guys actually getting on. As we start to evolve further, we'll be doing some other things as well. All right, good deal. All right, so that's it for this one.